So, why do we celebrate Holy Cross Day on September 14th? Well, the answer is because there are two particularly important things that happened on that day, all the way back in Constantine's time. And one of those was the grounds for the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, the church that contains that spot for the crucifixion as well as the resurrection. So that was set aside for a place of worship on this day. But it's also the day when Constantine's mother, Helena, who was a very, very devout Christian, very devout in her belief, it's the day that she, or probably rather her workers, those serving under her, discovered what they believed to be the one true cross, the cross that Jesus died on. Now, we can take that or leave that. There's certainly enough fragments around in the world of this, of the supposed true cross, that if we put them all together, we'd have an army of crosses right there for us. But that's not the most important piece of all of this and why we celebrate this day. So for those who have gone to the Holy Sepulchre, you may have experienced some of what I did. It's this very spirit-filled place. And this is in spite of everything against the Holy Sepulchre. I mean, it is a hodgepodge of architectural work. It's kind of hard to know what's where, why what's where is where it is. Like I said, it's a hodgepodge. It's not really designed, it seems, in many ways for worshipers. And there are probably more tourists and pilgrims that are going through this place of worship anyways. And that's not even to speak of all the denominational strife at the church, that if you belong to this group or that group, you have this specific spot that you can worship in. You can't worship anywhere else. There's a lot of craziness going on in the Holy Sepulchre. And yet, in spite of all of that, you really do feel that presence there. And this is the reason that I believe that when we go in, we feel the Spirit, we feel God's presence with us. And it's because the Holy Sepulchre is an assurance for us that the crucifixion, that the resurrection is it's not a metaphorical event. It's not something symbolic. It's not whatever you want to call it. This is an event that actually happened. It's an event in history. We know it's something that actually occurred because we know that the spot for the crucifixion is there, where it said where they say it is in this church. Or rather, we know more or less that that's the exact spot for the crucifixion. And we also have some pretty strong assurances that in that space as well, we have the spot for the resurrection too. My hope is, if you take anything else away from Holy Cross Day, it's this: that the death and resurrection of Jesus happened, that they're real events in time. And that gives us hope, because just as Jesus was resurrected from the dead, it means we who are baptized into his death also have that hope of resurrection too. And it's for that very reason, for the hope of the cross and the resurrection, for the knowledge that these are events that took place in history. It is for all of that that we can truly say, thanks be to God.